But they've got to know sometime that naked women come on a wooden base. Point in every boy's life when he finds that out, he's disturbed, but then you move on. You move on with it.
We never had Subbuteo in Australia. We didn't have grown people, I mean, actual...
You didn't have any grown people in Australia?
Playing with these tiny models. You played with these tiny models?
Yes, yeah, well, you were supposed to...
You all did this?
Don't get so smart. You were throwing sticks that came back to you. Don't get so...
Let me revert to my point. We had full-size people playing a full-size game.
We also had the full-size game. We didn't used to play Subbuteo and go, oh, I dream of a day of grass. Any other footballers in the news this week?
David Beckham?
Yes, very much
That was a good guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
He didn't want to speak to the Daily Mail or the News of the World, I think.
Yes, and most of the other publications in the country. Yeah.
Well, he just texted them, did he?
Yeah.
Didn't David Beckham also win an award this week? He won Black Sports Personality of the Year award.
He won Black Role Model of the Year.
Role Model, right,
rather than Black Sports
He
was eliminated from Black Sports Personality of the Year for what I would regard as obvious reasons. Might be Irishman of the Year next year, it's equally likely. Only if he up in the field when he's playing for England. Okay, sorry, I should fight that sort of instinct. I'm living here now, I'm assimilated. Chim chim choo. Yes, this is the latest addition to the Subbuteo range of table football figures, namely a streaker. The streaker works on the same principles as all the other Subbuteo players, although it does take a few extra flicks just to get him ready for action. Also this week, David Beckham criticised the press for their coverage of his alleged affairs and announced he wouldn't speak to the News of the World and the Daily Mail, and Sky News and Sky Sports and the BBC and ITV. So look out for that big exclusive for next week's Exchange in Mart. Next picture, please.
This is about invigilating exams.
Indeed it is.
No, this is a Subbuteo factory. They're making the little streakers. He's at the back saying a little bit more on the knob, Maureen.
Yes, it is indeed invigilators. Where did the story appear?
It was earlier this week. Invigilators get very bored, so they come up with ways of trying to kill the time. Apparently they have competitions between them to try and hand out more paper than each other. They're very bored.
Other games they play are Stand By You. Do you know what Stand By You is?
They stand by the ugliest person in the room.
Essentially, yes. And they play chicken.
Invigilator chicken.
Invigilator chicken.
Always played it every chance I got.
Yeah.
Exactly with Subbuteo in mind.
They walk down the aisles until someone wavers.
Yes. Yeah. They walk
and veers off.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Yes, this is the revelation of the games teachers play while invigilating exams. One of the games is called Chicken, in which, according to The Sun, two invigilators walk towards each other from opposite ends of a narrow aisle. The first one to dodge into another aisle is the loser. Although, in a wider sense, they're both losers. Let's see the next picture. Paul and Clive.
Pigeons.
Yes.
Pigeons used in the Cold War to bomb enemies. Are they wearing flying helmets? They are.
They are? Of course they are.
And why are the pigeons bombing Brighton? Yeah. What's going on? This was The Sun, was it?
It was The Sun.
It's almost like you can't believe what you read.
Whose brainchild was this pigeon attack?
Was it Bernard Matthews?
It actually was. It was the head of the Air Ministry pigeon section. Oh, my God.
Is there a pigeon? Is there a pigeon that's head of the pigeon section? All the pigeons. Doesn't understand, speaks the same language.
The pigeon with one eye.
Yeah.
Who wishes he was still out there. Yeah. Okay. By God, war, how I love it so. No, it was a Wing Commander William Rayner.
He would be a Wing Commander.
And do you know how the birds were going to find their targets?
They were all male birds, and the female bird had been taken to the target. That's the way it worked.
Well, why didn't they just send the biological thing with the female bird in the first place?
I don't know. My suggestion was, in fact, fictitious.
Yes, Yes, this is the secret MI5 plot to recruit and train pigeons to bomb foreign states. Wing Commander William Rayner was head of the MI5's pigeon section in World War II. According to The Independent, he had many daring schemes for deployment of pigeons in warfare, including floating pigeons over enemy lines using hot air balloons. He hadn't quite grasped the potential of the pigeon there, had he? Next picture, please. Paul and Clive.
It's very easy, this one. This is the controversial garden at Chelsea Flower Show. The Irish guy.
Dermot Gavin.
Dermot. He said he was being sponsored when he wasn't.
He hadn't quite nailed down the whole sponsorship thing. Apparently he's supposed to have all this in place, and Dermot, with a typical Celtic flair, didn't bother his arse. This next-door gardener is also a controversy he was involved with. Do you know the name of his fellow gardener?
Bunny Guinness.
Bunny Guinness, lovely name.
Do you know what it was about?
Size of the wall, initially, between the two gardens.
Yeah. You don't get much space at Chelsea at the Flower Show, do you? It's a tiny little plot.
Do I look interested?
He also feels like Bunny Guinness set him up on Gardener's Question Time.
I don't know why he thought he'd been set up on Gardener's Question Time, that notorious killing ground.
Everyone's a trick question there.
What would you do with a Strapolopoulos this time of year? And they start answering and say, it doesn't exist.
It is this year's Chelsea Garden Show, which has been much overshadowed by a row between the organisers and TV gardener Dermot Gavin. The winning entry was described as a tranquil Arab Islamic garden until 10,000 US Marines moved in and toppled the gnome. Next picture, please.
I got one. This is the very, very first tranche of CDs that were sold to us on the basis that they could last forever and ever and ever. It turns out that it's not true. They get rusty and unplayable.
Absolutely. It's a condition known as CD rot. Do you know what the evidence of it is?
They're unplayable.
Are you the science correspondent?
Actually, on this one, I am the science correspondent, and I can tell you confidently that it's a certain element in the glue in the booklet reacts with a certain epoxy resin on the inlet sleeve on the front of the CD package to produce a combination of gas which attacks the surface of the CD and starts to destroy its electronic coding properties, with the result that everything ends up sounding like an early Madonna record, including early Madonna.
Are we still playing?
Yes, this is the bad news for music fans, that all those apparently indestructible CDs we bought in the 80s could be suffering from a condition known as CD rot. Some CDs from the 80s are now impossible to listen to due to a particular phase in the production process, which involved each blank CD being coated with the music of Phil Collins. Which means at the end of this round, it is Ian and Julie on 4, but in the lead, Paul and Clive on 7. How do we do that? The next round is the odd one out round. Ian and Julie, your 4 are Adam Faith, Spike Milligan, Benito Mussolini and Mel Blanc.
Mel Blanc died recently. He was the voice of Bugs Bunny.
Yes, indeed he was.
Spike Milligan just had his headstone put in place. It's in Gaelic, but it says something like, I told you I was ill. Famous last words.
Because Adam Faith, well, he had very famous last words. He died in a hotel room in peculiar circumstances.
No, you're in the hole now. Dig your way out.
That's what he said.
Mel Blanc, he was the voice of all the Warner Bros. Cartoons, as he says. Surely it must sound his tombstone, that's all, folks.
Yes, he does.
It does.
Yeah.
And Spike Milligan was, I think, I told you I was ill. Mussolini was, last words were, you'll never get me on that lamppost.
He's really got one out because he hasn't got any last words.
Yeah. He hasn't got anything written on his tombstone.
Mussolini?
Yeah.
It's not the right answer,
Adam
I'm
Faith
afraid.
is what
because
he said his last words rather than on his tombstone.
You both actually decided to say exactly the same answer at the same time, and it was the right answer. So, grand applause to both of you.
Yeah.